This dog has been starving for 10 days. Passers-by, seeing its pitiful state, gave it some food. But the loyal and obedient collie didn't eat. The man immediately realized this wasn't just a stray. Look at its respectful demeanor. The man, feeling helpless, could only leave. Lassie, seemingly sensing the man's kindness, quietly followed. But she didn't dare approach too closely. To ease her apprehension, the man fed his own small dog. Then he brought the bowl over. "There's your dinner, Your Highness. Eat up." This simple act of kindness allowed Lassie to relax her guard. Starving for days, she finally enjoyed a full meal. You'll have to come along with us if you want more. So, Lassie joined their traveling troupe. One man, 2 dogs, they embarked on a national tour. Soon, however, the man prepared to return home. Unexpectedly, before his departure, he was ambushed by 2 thugs. They first attacked Lassie. The defenseless man quickly became their victim. Seeing her master in danger, the smaller dog bravely sprang into action. "Little dog, go!" Witnessing this, the man was filled with fury. Lassie at that moment also joined the fray. Together they fought valiantly, routing the thugs. Sadly, the smaller dog was never seen again. 7 years. We've been together, and I couldn't have asked for better company. Perhaps the recent hardships had made Lassie yearn for her master. At a crossroads, she parted ways with the man who was about to depart on tour. After their final farewell, she resolutely began her journey to find her master. Actually, Lassie didn't belong to the wealthy woman. Her real master was this boy. Every day after school, Lassie would patiently wait at the school gates. The boy's father worked in the town mine. A family of 4, though struggling, made ends meet. But one day, a wealthy family's young daughter set her sights on Lassie, but the boy refused to sell her. The Duke wasn't upset. He knew the town's miners were about to be laid off. "We don't need the money, or maybe not today, but for how long?" It seems hopeless. Everyone knows it. The boy overheard his parents' conversation, but he was helpless to change anything. Within days, the mine closed. The miners, dejected, ignored their wives, preoccupied with their uncertain futures. "There's someone at the door, Your Grace. Shall I show them away?" No, I was expecting him." The Duke spent a mere £15, purchasing this gift for his granddaughter. Yet, seeing Lassie refusing food and water in her cage, the granddaughter felt a pang of guilt. That afternoon after school, the boy didn't see Lassie waiting for him. For the first time, he sensed something was wrong and raced home. "Lassie, she wasn't at school. I think something's happened to her." Noticing his parents' evasive glances, he feared the worst. The next day, Lassie couldn't endure it any longer. She dug under her cage and escaped. The boy, disheartened after school, and, in an instant, witnessed an unbelievable sight. Lassie was back at her usual spot, waiting for him. But their joy was short-lived. The portly manager arrived to take Lassie away, warning the boy never to approach her again. On their way home, they encountered a flock of sheep. Lassie promptly opened the car door and, as a natural sheepdog, expertly guided the sheep aside. But their peaceful life was short-lived. The father, determined, took his son to retrieve the dog. To calm Lassie's fears of running away, he allowed his son to speak reassuring words. "You're a bad dog, and we don't love you anymore. So stay here and live with us. Do you understand? Bad dog." The boy, heartbroken, buried his face in his father's embrace as they left. The girl noticed the boy's unspoken sorrow. "She isn't happy here. That's why she runs away." Of course she's happy. She runs because they've trained her to do it. Then they can steal her back and sell her. Those Yorkshiremen, they're nothing but thieving scoundrels. If they wanted to steal her, why did they return her? It's a trick, isn't it? To prevent Lassie from escaping again, the overweight manager erected a barrier outside her enclosure. He believed this would solve the problem, but he underestimated Lassie's determination. She cleared the fence with ease. Lassie then set off to find her young master. The enraged manager demanded the dog, but neither boy nor Lassie returned. Eventually, the father located his son nestled behind a hill. This time the boy refused to part with Lassie, but the father explained that Lassie belonged to the Duke. Keeping her would be theft. However, the boy remained despondent. He believed Lassie would return. "Not this time. She won't. They'll take her to Scotland tomorrow." The following day, the Duke's family transported Lassie by train to the north of Scotland, 1,200 kilometers away. Learning of this, the boy was overjoyed. His mother felt his joy, but selling the dog had been a necessary sacrifice, one that still pained the boy. Soon, the mine closed permanently, and all the miners lost their jobs. Lassie resided on the Duke's expansive estate. one among many collies, but remained disobedient. To assert control, the portly manager took her to an isolated area, then unfastened his belt and yanked at Lassie's collar. Her cries alarmed nearby gardeners, but the manager's overbearing demeanor kept them from intervening. Suddenly, unexpectedly, Lassie slipped her collar. She reacted instantly and fled. "Stop her! Stop those infernal dogs! Stop her!" A visiting girl witnessed the scene. As Lassie approached, a decision formed in her mind. She appeared to have made up her mind. The manager's yell caused the gates to swing open, and Lassie seized the opportunity to escape, running towards the perimeter of the estate. "What's all the commotion? I'll open the gate for you." "Oh, all right, sorry." The Duke noticed the manager's belt and instantly understood. He was a renowned dog lover, and he wouldn't tolerate anyone striking his dog. Consequently, the manager was immediately fired. With that, the overweight manager was summarily dismissed, and the escaped Lassie began her 1,200-kilometer trek home. Shortly after, a heavy downpour commenced. Luckily, Lassie discovered a dilapidated shelter. The next day, refreshed after a night's rest, she continued her journey. However, as she passed through a village, she was noticed by the police, dispatched by the Duke to locate her. Lassie sensed their hostility and bolted towards the village outskirts. A vehicle then appeared, obstructing her path. It was the Duke and his granddaughter, eager to bring Lassie back. But Lassie had no desire for the pampered life of the estate and simply ran off after the car. "She'll return when she's hungry. I doubt she'll be coming back. She's trying to get home, just as she did before." During her journey, Lassie encountered a farmstead. She hoped to ask for a drink of water, but a farmer mistook her for a chicken thief. Without a second thought, he fired his shotgun at her. Lassie, startled by this unexpected attack, fled in terror. From that point on, she avoided human contact whenever possible. She continued toward the coast, finding a small stream where she quenched her thirst. Once refreshed, she resumed her determined journey, traversing vast open plains and scaling seemingly insurmountable mountains. Despite the arduous and lengthy trek home, Lassie, driven by her longing for her master, never faltered. After an unknown period, she reached a small town. Her unkempt appearance led a constable to mistake her for a stray. He apprehended Lassie and took her to a dog pound. But as they were about to confine her, Lassie cleverly escaped the pound and dashed outside. She discovered all the exits were locked. With surprising agility, she reached the second story, carefully navigating the window ledge before making a daring leap over the high wall. Finally, she landed on a passing truck and successfully escaped the pound. Before the dog catchers could arrive, Lassie made a daring escape through the main gate. After enduring countless hardships, Lassie had become wary of humans. Even chance encounters on the road resulted in her keeping a safe distance. The compassionate man immediately recognized Lassie's plight. This is how the opening scene unfolded. The man's genuine kindness finally won Lassie's trust. He was the only good person she encountered. They shared a wonderful time together. But acts of kindness are rare. The man's little dog was tragically killed by thugs along the way. Although she deeply desired to remain by the man's side, Lassie's heart still yearned for her young master. Ultimately, their paths diverged at a crossroads. But I keep thinking of my little dog, wouldn't you know? And me. That's the sad truth. You understand my words, but I don't understand yours. And yet, we humans are considered the most intelligent. May fortune favor you. On her continued journey, Lassie headed towards the railway. Finally, on Christmas Eve, she arrived back in her familiar town. Through a blizzard, Lassie made her way to her master's home. But lifting her head to look at the windows, she found the house was empty. It seems hopeless. The townspeople were all at church, celebrating Christmas Eve. The boy's family was there too. Unaware, Lassie wearily reached the school gates, and, overcome with exhaustion, collapsed in the snow. Her gaze remained fixed on the school. Fortunately, a small dog from a neighboring house discovered her, but facing the relentless blizzard, even the small dog felt helpless, and quickly ran toward the church. She snatched the boy's scarf and pulled him outside. The boy instantly understood. Guided by the little dog, he found Lassie, nearly buried in the snow. "Lassie, it's Lassie! She's home!" Seeing her matted, lifeless fur and frail form, they could barely comprehend Lassie's incredible journey. After a year and over 1,200 kilometers, Lassie, driven by her love for her master, had made it home. The townspeople emerged, deeply moved by Lassie's saga. A medical examination revealed Lassie's heart was extremely weak. Her body showed she'd returned through sheer will. She likely passed away peacefully after reuniting with her loved ones. The news silenced everyone. "Come on, my dear. All right, please, doctor." To spare the young master further grief, Lassie miraculously survived the night. But the first visitors weren't doctors, but the overweight manager and the police. It turned out the boy's family had taken Lassie. The Duke had returned for Christmas. To secure his job, the manager falsely claimed to have found Lassie. But the Duke, after hearing the description, was suspicious. He resolutely declared this wasn't his dog. All the way to Berwick and back again? What? Please, be quiet, boy. Do you take me for a fool easily tricked? This isn't my dog. Any fool can see that. You found a stray, you oafs. Don't try to pass her off on me. The dog I bought was large and healthy, not this emaciated creature, Mr. Hamish. I understand perfectly. The overweight manager remained insistent, claiming this was the stolen dog. The Duke refused further conversation and dismissed him with a pair of snarling mastiffs. Under the loving care of the boy's family, Lassie gradually recovered. The Duke, recognizing the family's compassion, offered the father a position as his butler. Naturally, the family and Lassie were welcome too. May I accept? Thank you, Your Grace.